Sentimental FX update for the 16th of February for the QuasiDB service. I'm going to start with gold because we did get the signal to sell, and what we want to do is try and get the sentiment and technical to align. What a really good advice if you've got a Windows machine and you're using MetaTrader 4, you could get the multimeter indicator from the starter pack. And this is what I use just for confidence for entry. So currently on the gold, we've actually got some bearishness on minute 1 and minute 5. So I would wait for them to turn red before I'd enter short, because there's some bullishness on the very, very small time frames. So ideally what you want to do is simply wait for all the ducks to line up and then enter. Because currently we're green on these two, but what if this one goes green? And then this one, and then you would have entered short and then you'd be encountering a loss. So using the FX multimeter, which is freely available, if you go to the starter pack and scroll down, get it, and just, if you've got the patience, which you should have, just wait for these two to turn red and then you can enter. See, we've got some bullishness creeping in. So very good advice. Try and get your sentiment and your technical to align, and that's the key, because you wouldn't just necessarily rely on your sentiment because it's like the icing on the cake. You want, the part of the constituents of the cake to mix with the plan. You wouldn't just have the icing, because that would just it wouldn't constitute a cake. So you want to get the technical to agree, and so you definitely want to get this multimeter. So wait for those two to turn red, okay? And then US 500, here's your MR2, 3954, and we had some resistance, as you can see. So monthly pivots here, 3744, and MR1 is 3829. I think we could probably come down a bit and then we can rally. We have come so fast, so quickly. It's quite scary, actually, how fast we came in such a short space of time. In 16 days, we rallied to MR2, so it's a bit strange. And also of note is that the chart overlay is saying that we've got some bearish activity, some bearish volumes on the last two H4 candles, and so that's quite interesting. There wasn't any bullish or bearish candles activity on any of these, so it was sort of a bit lackluster. It probably just wanted to get stops, I don't know, but there wasn't any conviction behind that move, and now there's conviction in the selling, which we can see by the dark red. If this falls, it could indicate a big reversal on the USD, and because we know that the USD has really moved today, it could have been somehow forecast in a risk-off scenario. And we do know that there's some US and China tensions, so there is like a macro story to it. So yeah, we probably want to check your dollar bubble and check your VIX as well. I think this is going to be a near-term resistance, and it might be that the dollar bubbles front run the indices, which is quite interesting. So we'll have to wait and see. I'll just quickly go through the currencies and keep an eye on the greens and keep an eye on the high level sentiment as well. 82.54 and 81.78, and the pink line's a monthly pivot as well. So if we're above, we're bullish. AU, there's your pink line, which is monthly pivot. Where are we? It's going to let me load it. 78.07, 77.40, and we're a buy, but we're a bit choppy on the trend, moving average trend. EA, where are we? 156.31, 155.5, 555, so that's easy. And we're a sell here. I think we might get the stop loss cluster because it's larger of the two, and we're very close. And FX is quite cruel, so we'll probably get that, and then we can come down and get that. EU 121.70, 120.73. There's your monthly pivot. So them guys going long, so that would be bearish. there. Depends what they do. And keep an eye on that dollar bubble, and especially if we have a risk-off scenario. If we do, this will fall. GU, likewise, this will fall as well in a risk-off scenario. 139.40, 138.65, quite strong on the moving averages, and we are buy at the high level. NU, 72.70 and 71.70. The one below is large of the two. There's your monthly pivot, and we had quite a nice candle wick off that actually, dead on. So keep an eye on 71.98, especially if the S&P does fall. You know, this will be a good entry and a tight stop, and then we can target the SLC. EJ, this is probably gonna rally and get the stops. I think we're only 5 pips away from getting that liquidity, and we are buy at the high level, and the stem guys sold it around about here. So yeah, they're in big drawdown, 200 pips. It's pretty horrible. And we've got a long way to go. I think there's 70 odd pips to this one, 60, 65 pips to resistance. So it's going to grab stops all the way up to here. And I think, you know, we've got some stuff going on in Europe, so positive macro stuff. I think the data was really good, and they got the Draghi as PM, and the Dutch government is no longer doing a curfew, and businesses are going back to, you know, normal and stuff. So reasons for this to rally, there are, you know, fundamental reasons and sentimental reasons as well. Pound yen, so close, 147.40. This is our signal to buy, so do keep an eye on that stop loss cluster. God, 146.30. Check your moving averages and your signal, and then we're about at the high level. Dollar yen, another signal of ours. So keep an eye on 106 on the dot. We're 9 pips away, and SLC is down here at 103.5. So, and we're above monthly pivot, so it was already a technical buy anyway. So sold it here. Dollar CAD on above 127.10, and one below 125.78. If you see, they've gone long here, so the price comes down, and then they decided to short it here, around about here, so it goes up. So whatever happens, it does the opposite, and it's just really, really cruel. Yeah, don't forget we've got oil stuff as well, so keep an eye on that. And last but not least, dollar Swiss. So this shouldn't really be coming up because it's payday for these guys, but we have broken this big trend line. So there is that. 89.41, and the stop loss cluster is on monthly pivot at 88.62. So I'm going to wrap up now. Actually, before I wrap up, just an eye on Bitcoin, because MR2 48,822. We had a few resistances there. If we were to zoom in, oops, that's a bit weird. Yeah, I mean, there's one candle wick there, and some candle wicks there. So and this one here too. So it could potentially have like a triangle break, because this is your horizontal from the resistance, and this is your support. So we could have like a bit of a move here potentially. And your moving average trend is all bearish, but from the daily. And so I'll wrap up now. We did have some losses on our signals because of the USD reversal. It was completely unexpected. The only way to overcome it is from strict risk management. I got caught out on the dollar CAD, so it's just one of those things. The dollar bubble is very unusual in its behavior. If it continues, we're going to get dollar buy signals. So that could be quite interesting, especially if we get a risk off. We do need to ensure we check the fundamentals before entry. So if we do get something like the Euro USD short, ensure that the S&P is like in decline. So just a little check before entry. And a good tip with the gold is to wait for your for these two to turn red, and it won't take long. You can wait 15 minutes, half an hour, and then you should be fine. And just wait for that one, and you can enter. And I'll wrap up now, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.